Well, what is going on, everybody? Welcome. Welcome, everybody, into the Hump Day Hotline on the Overreaction Sports Network, powered by Believe. My name is Joe Miller. You can find me on Twitter at Joe Miller Wire. That guy sitting right next to me is Jay Spence, the King. Please do us a favor. Please like, please subscribe, whatever platform you are consuming this video on right now. Please hit that thumbs up. Hump that like button, as we like to say here on Wednesdays. Hump the like button. And please subscribe, whatever platform you are viewing it on. Hit the notifications button if you're over there on YouTube. Actually, if you're not watching it on YouTube, jump over to YouTube because the comment section there is pretty dope. And if you are listening to this if you're listening to this in post as a podcast, for those of you, please know that you can find all of our podcasts on every show drops as a podcast. You can find it on any podcast platform, but it is so good to have every single one of you guys with us. Jay Spence the King, I have the paper. I know up there. I know what we said. And as much as we borderline, fearfully prophesied errantly what was going to happen in the Rams game, I don't think we saw this one coming. What a game.
Oh, what did we say? How close was I? I thought I was.
Sorry. I didn't know we were going to get into that right now.
No, you left me hanging. You brought it up.
Well, it's because you can't see it. Like, can you see that?
No, I can't see it.
Jay Spence, the King, said 325, which, what do you have, 368 or something like that? Okay. 325 yards passing, 40 yards rushing, and you had 2 touchdowns throwing and 1 receiving. Or I'm sorry, 1 rushing rather, and then you had 38-31 Bills. I had him with 340 yards passing, 2 and 1, or did I have him with an interception? I didn't mark it down. I either had him with an interception or a rushing touchdown. I'll take it on the chin if it was an interception. I don't remember. I said 42-25, so I at least had the Bills number close-ish, but they just kept coming. Like the Lions just. Where do I want to start with that game? I mean, we've talked a lot about that game, and there's been a lot of conversations about the game just in general because it was probably the best game of the season for the entire NFL. Yes, would you agree with that?
Yeah, absolutely.
So the Bills are up 17 points, 3 possessions in the fourth quarter, and I'm like, this game's over. And then they're going for another onside kick with 12 seconds left. And I'm like biting my fingernails off as they're unscrambling the pile for like 10 minutes. And Taron Johnson's got the ball at the bottom of the pile. Like, what a dog. But where are you at? Where have you landed on that football game?
Well, and I know immediately everybody's going to be talking about Josh Allen and his MVP odds and all that stuff, right?
Which we're going to talk about.
We will, and they should be talking about that. But I want to give props to the defense for the first 2 drives and maybe like a third drive somewhere in that first half. That really is what was the difference in the game. Without those first 2 drives where we made stops, that first 3 and out, and then that second drive where we were able to stop them and get the ball back, without the Buffalo Bills having that 14-0 lead, it would have been a completely different day. So I just want to shout out the defense. I know a lot of us will beat the defense up because they gave up 30 whatever points, and then the week before that they gave up 42 or 44 points. You're right. They're giving up a lot of points, but they also made stops when it mattered, and it's about winning games. And right now, they did what they had to do to win against, in my opinion, the team coming into that game that was the hottest team in the NFL. So I do want to give kudos to the defense. I don't know how you feel about the defense or the performance of the defense, like I said, with the points given up, but I think I watched the game back a couple of times now. I just think that those first 2 drives were big time. Big time.
I don't think you could say enough about the defense stopping them early. So clearly the Lions had to adjust in the middle of the first half, or they were going to get ran out of their own stadium. Yeah. And they did adjust offensively because of the defense the Bills were playing. But then even to include like the Bills going down with Dorian Williams, going down with Matt Milano, going down with Cole Bishop, like getting even more depleted. It's hard not to talk about how good Kaiir Elam did in that football game. Like Kaiir, he didn't have the greatest game that any cornerback has ever played, but the dude held his own. And, we talked about it on the postgame show. You almost wonder if that Rams game may have looked a little bit different if Kaiir Elam had played, because he is a man cover corner, if people remember going back to when we drafted him, That was the rub. We don't play man defense. Why are you drafting this kid? They draft him, and he isn't a fit until you play a team like the Rams or a team like the Lions, and all of a sudden, he kind of fits. So,
look at the speed. Oh, it's special.
Yeah, no. Ed Oliver had himself a day. So I'm going to ask you a question. And I've talked about this a little bit, but not a whole lot. I haven't really pressed into it. Ed Oliver, I love Ed Oliver. I don't not like Ed Oliver. I think you like Ed Oliver. Undersized defensive tackle, high motor guy, gets a new contract, vanished this whole entire season until he gets called out by the press, which it was talked about today or yesterday with Sean, with Coach, that, the press was asking him hard questions last week, and he stood there and answered them all and basically had something to prove against the Lions, went out and had a career day. Where you been all year, Ed? What are your thoughts on that? Like, is that how this is supposed to work? I'm just going to coast until I get embarrassed, and then I'm going to come out and show you what I got.
No, see, here's the thing. I look at certain guys as model players, as just overall. And now, one of the things I will say, I think he's a model player as far as we don't have any issues with him off the field. We don't have any issues with him, even as being coachable. You don't hear anything out of One Bills Drive where they have anything negative to say. I love the
team guy. Yeah.
Team guy. But where I'm going with this is, you don't want to, now I put guys in the category. I'm wounded, Joe. I'm traumatized. I put guys in the category of Ryan Fitzpatrick. You love these guys. They come out, they show whatever they show, they get the contract, and then they disappear. And the thing is, he had a couple games at the beginning of the season where I even apologized. I'm like, you know what? I didn't think he deserved that contract. He's shutting me up. He's proving me wrong. First couple of games of the season. And then he disappeared. And now it's one of those things where it's like, why does it take you having a chip on your shoulder or somebody to say something about you and you to be offended for you to just decide to wake up and have a game? The thing is, you're getting paid a lot of freaking money to play football. Your motivation should be, I want to be the best undersized defensive tackle in the league. I want to be all pro. Like, you should have motivation without having to have somebody talk crap about you. Maybe that's just me. I don't know.
No, I think a better comparison wouldn't. Ryan Fitzpatrick was a limited player. I think the best comparison is Marcel Darius. Like, Marcel Darius, when he got his extension, he was dominant. He was a dominant defensive tackle in the NFL, and that dude,
I wasn't comparing exact talents, but you're right. You're right. I was more so comparing just like getting excited about the promise of somebody and giving them the money, and then it just not realizing. But you're absolutely right. Marcel or Darcel Marius, as Stephen A. Smith would like to say, it was worse. You're right, because it was Mr. Big Stuff. Like, we really invested into that guy, and the city bought in, the team bought in, and he just kind of disappeared after he got lazy. And I don't see Ed being lazy, but I just see him not being a factor, and that's the part.
We should do a show in the offseason on the Bills Mafia life arc of Ryan Fitzpatrick, from we don't want that guy to folklore and hero and all of us being excited and giddy when he signed what was it, $64 million 4-year contract, or 60, I don't remember how many years it was, with the $64 million contract, and we were like, we were 4-0. David Nelson was on that football team, Stevie Johnson, right? And then we ran him out of town, and then we made fun of him every time when he was on the Dolphins and the Jets, and he played the Bills. Fitzy gonna Fitz, right?
And now he's magic. But now we love him again. Like, he's
now
a hero.
He takes his shirt off at a cold Bills game, and now he's back in. He considers himself. I mean, he talks fondly, obviously, of Buffalo, and he says that this was the best place he ever played. The fans, the town, the team, all that stuff. But sorry, I digress. Sorry, you just brought up.
No, you're right. You're right. But I love him too. But again, he we paid him and he didn't show up. So this is what we're talking about here. And I just hope that but Groot, not Groot. I'm sorry, Groot. You are balling, not you, Groot. I just hope with Ed Oliver that, okay, if this is the time, then let this be the time. But it shouldn't be a thing where we have to keep, where the media has to say something, or where fans are saying, where's Ed Oliver? You just need to play well. And the thing is, like, we get having a bad game. We get having bad reps here or there. Sometimes we get you going up against a guy that's just flat out better than you, and it is what it is.
Yeah.
Okay. But the effort that we've seen this season from Ed Oliver just hasn't been there. So kudos to him for Sunday. Bravo. Do it again. Do it
Yeah.
again.
I feel like if anything, he proved how much this defense needs him, right? Like
Yeah.
we need you to show Daquan Jones looked better because Ed Oliver was having a day, right? So yeah, and I also felt like the defensive line looked better with Jordan Phillips in there versus him being on the inactive list against the Rams. There's just an energy that Jordan Phillips, there's an urgency that he brings to that defensive line that I don't feel many of the other guys do. The other guys are good players, whereas Jordan maybe isn't as talented as some of the other guys at Oliver, Daquan Jones, but there's just an energy he brings. Do we want to talk?
Well, real quick, just about Jordan. It's just crazy because it seems like any team he plays for other than Buffalo, he's just not good.
He's
like
awful.
he's just not good. He comes back to Buffalo and all of a sudden he finds a gear that he just didn't have. And all of a sudden it's like, that's why teams sign every offseason. This is why it happens. He goes and he gets a really nice contract because he comes back to Buffalo and he turns his motor on and he looks like a completely different guy until he goes back to Arizona or he goes back to wherever. And it's just like, but I love it. Do it in Buffalo, man. Do it.
I mean, him leaving Buffalo this year and ending up in Dallas. I mean, it was, I don't want to say clear because I don't know about tampering and all that other kind of stuff, but it was pretty clear when he came back. It was like, yeah, we'd already called Buffalo and been like, hey,
like you can't say that.
Can you get me up out of here? Maybe. Can you get me up out? And then they released him, obviously. But do we want to talk briefly about this Lions game? I think one of the most impressive things from this game, and as the Mafia, as much as we are very football intelligent, there's times that we're not, right? I think every fan base can say that for the most part, but generally speaking, we've got a pretty high football IQ. And one of the things that it feels like that we, what do I want to say, complain a lot about is whether it's lack of adjustments, lack of effective game plan, attacking, the weakness of the opponent as far as that goes. Like it seems like a lot of times, we've talked about it. Oh, the other team has bad corners, like all of their corners are hurt. So we're going to run the ball 45 times against them into the teeth of their defense because that's just what we do. Can we give we did a dude award to freaking Joe Brady for attacking their linebackers with running backs with speed, because that pretty much crushed that football team. Like he went after their linebackers and attacked their linebackers. I've seen a couple different pressers since the game. Give me more of that. Find the weakness of the other team and attack it. Right.
Well, I mean, in every way, I feel like he attacked the weakness on defense. You're right about the linebackers, but then also the injuries to cornerback that they had. We absolutely did it. Like just the whatever you want to call them, the pick plays or the creativity that he showed in making sure he was able to get guys open and create mismatches on a play-to-play basis was incredible. But then furthermore, I want to take it a step further and I want to give Sean McDermott some love. Like Sean McDermott, I know, he'll probably moments if you're going to talk crap about Sean McDermott right now, you're nitpicking anyway, just because whatever, but there's going to be some who have something negative to say about certain moments and certain decisions. Like for instance, the third, there was another, I forget exactly which drive it was. Why didn't we just go for it on the 3rd and 1 when why didn't we just do the QB sneak instead of trying all this other stuff? I get it. But guess what? Sean McDermott,
I can't remember.
I forget which drive it was, but you know what I'm talking about, right? Then it ended up being a holding or a false start, whatever. We missed the Tyler Bass field goal.
Wasn't that the end of the half where they called the false start on Deion Dawkins and they were clearly offsides because they jumped the arm flag? They timed the arm flag.
But 2 plays prior to that, we're on the 1, and it's like, why not just go Josh Allen QB sneak here?
Right.
It's I get it. He already had 2. Why not do it again? Whatever. But again, if you're gonna nitpick them, that's the only decision of the game where I'm like, what the heck does Sean McDermott do? I'm really all season, I've been more and more impressed with how he's been handling himself in these situations where normally I feel like he made bad decisions that would have had me pulling my hair out or had me texting you very bad things on Sunday. Instead, I'm happy. I've been happy this season, Joe. It's been a great thing.
Yeah, I still have a couple people that climb into my DMs that don't tweet anything, but they climb into my DMs and like just if the Bills are winning, if they win 8 in a row, I don't hear from them. And then one bad defensive series is like, this is why this team is
This is
never
what
going
I'm
to win a
talking
Super Bowl. It's like, what are we doing? And then they have a couple, and I responded this way. They have a couple good defensive series, and I'm like, good job, Babbage. Good job, Sean. Like, no,
What happened?
game's over. Don't worry, they're going to go to prevent and screw this whole thing up. And it's like they didn't. I don't know what to tell you, but transitioning even still inside of this game and then kind of into the rest of the season, this is the graphic, right?
Yeah.
MVP is the conversation. And I don't know that we've ever done a real long conversation on MVP as it pertains. We've talked about it in the past, and I think we've always landed in if you remove Josh Allen from this football team, they don't win 4 games in a season.
Yeah.
If you remove other quarterbacks from their team, they probably do win some football games because there's talent around them and stuff like that. This year is a very weird year in as much as Josh Allen doesn't have the crazy statistical numbers, but he is leading in the MVP odds, and this is from Fox Sports. It was updated yesterday. Josh Allen is minus $900, so he's the favorite. And if you want to lend some what's the word, some of your intellect, because I know that you're big into this stuff, so what does minus 900 mean?
Well, it means that he's absolutely the favorite. You would have to bet $900 in order to win 100. So,
yeah, bet $10, win 11.
Yeah,
or no, win total, win $1. Bet $10,
yeah.
win $1.
Yeah, it's not doing much for you. So you should have jumped on the Josh Allen bandwagon early before the season when they had him at like plus 420. That's what. Shout out to
if you're betting $10 million and you're going to win $1 million, then this is a great bet to take. Lamar Jackson is number 2 at plus 550. If you bet 10, you win $65 total. Saquon Barkley is 3. Jared Goff, Baker Mayfield, Joe Burrow, and by the way, your guy Baker Mayfield.
Baker balling.
Yeah, Baker is balling. But when you look at this, it seems to come down to Lamar and Josh a lot. Whether it's Lamar and Josh with the voters, probably not as much as it is Lamar and Josh with Bills Mafia, right? Because Lamar has won 2, and then Josh, we have felt that Josh is right there because of the numbers and the statistical side of it. And then Lamar has won the 2 with much weaker numbers. Now this year, the roles are reversed. Josh's numbers aren't as good as Lamar's, and everybody's mad that Lamar isn't the front runner to win. I don't know necessarily where to go with this conversation, because I think sometimes it's hard to figure out, what are they judging? Like, how do you judge? And I asked Mike Ken a lot of this on the beat. Like, what are you judging? And he said that he's talked to people with the MVP vote, and there's a body of work and stuff like that. And it also comes down to the expectations preseason, where they thought the Bills were going to be, which was, soft rebuild. He has no helper on him. Where are you on this whole MVP conversation?
Well, I'll be honest. Obviously, I'm a huge Lamar Jackson fan, so I don't bring a negative viewpoint when it comes to him being a possible MVP again. But the thing is, it's tough for me. Basically, the same thing you said. I'm just going to say it a little differently. It's tough for me to consider saying that Lamar Jackson is MVP over Josh Allen when the way that they're winning the games that they're winning is because of the team effort. Like, it's 100% because of Derrick Henry having a 85 plus yard game, a couple touchdowns maybe. And, you got Zay Flowers, you got 2 good tight ends making a ton of plays for him. Whereas Josh Allen is he looks like, you ever see the video where it shows like the mascots versus like the 10-year-olds?
Oh, yeah.
And like, this is what Josh Allen looks like against professional athletes on a week-to-week basis, where he's toying with professional athletes, and he just looks elite compared to elite guys, and that just doesn't make sense to say, but it's an absolute fact. And I just think when you add the context of watching the game, I understand, and I know why you bring up the numbers, and I get, and that's fine. If people want to have the argument, they didn't have it last year with Lamar or years before, whatever. We can we can go wherever you want to go. But what I'm saying is, when in context, when you watch the game, Josh Allen just looks like he's out there doing whatever he feels like doing, when he feels like doing it, exactly how he feels like doing it, and nobody's going to stop him. And to me, that's the most valuable player. Like that, without Josh Allen, the Buffalo Bills are a 2-win team this season. 3-win.
So yeah, I mean that's the cast around him is important, right? How many Pro Bowlers are on this football team? I sent you the graphic from the Buffalo Bills, right? Cole Bishop was one of the pictures.
Man.
It's like what are we doing right now? Like that's what I'm gonna pull it up just so I can remember, because it was.
I would say outside of Josh Allen, I go James Cook, obviously on offense.
Potentially, yep.
If you want to fight for a couple of guys on the offensive line, I'm not going to argue with you. So,
Deion.
Right. If you want to say Deion, I even look at Spencer. Like I just think that those guys have played. I think any of the guys on the offensive line.
But they're like DeMar Hamlin, Cole Bishop. I love Reed Ferguson.
Bernard, maybe.
Bernard, possibly. I mean, he was injured for a bit of the season.
So yeah.
So supporting cast is a big part of it. I feel like the fans, you and I included, look at this award differently than the people that vote on it look. And I think some of that comes down to the people that sometimes I wonder how much football we watch compared to the football they watch. Now, I don't mean that necessarily this year, because Josh Allen is pretty much everywhere. They just moved, obviously, this Patriots game this week into the 4:00 window. But in years past, when everyone was like, oh my God, Lamar, and Lamar is a great football player, quarterback in the NFL. He's an amazing talent in the NFL. Oh my God, Lamar. Nobody ever said, what about Josh's numbers? Has anybody looked at Josh's numbers? I don't remember anybody ever saying that. And now that Josh is the one that it's like, oh, Josh Allen is clearly the MVP, there's people out there going, what about Lamar's numbers? And for me, it's bizarre. The numbers didn't matter in the past. Now, all of a sudden, we want to argue the numbers. Now, all of a sudden, we want to argue wins and losses. Now, all of a sudden, we want to argue touchdowns. I almost wish the award would just go away. Why don't we just let that award kind of go away?
I hear you, but I want it from my guy this year before it goes away. So let's get it from my guy. He deserves it. He's deserved it before. I think that the Wildest Dreams Land year, he deserved it. I know Aaron Rodgers got a day. I think he deserved it over Rodgers that year. I think last year he deserved it. Hell, I think he deserved it over Lamar the first, but also no, I can't say that. The first year Lamar won it, it felt different watching him play.
Yeah.
It was like, okay, this guy is clearly but Josh is playing. Some people won't agree with this because I know not everybody is a Cam Newton fan, but I haven't seen a guy do as much with the team in a season since Cam Newton's MVP season. And I'm saying that to say, like, if you look at that roster, the team he took to the Super Bowl, and then you go look at Cam Newton's numbers, this is what Josh Allen is doing with the Buffalo Bills. And I mean this with all due respect. I know we got Amari Cooper now, and Cooper's good. And hey, let's extend Mac Hollins. Like, I don't care what's happening with this guy. Like, keep him around. And so, I mean, I'm not saying to say like we have zero talent, but again, everybody alludes to how this was a year that was supposed to be a step back year, or was supposed to be a transitional year. And the stuff that Josh Allen's doing with this team, man, I just can't see you, like, if you know ball, I just can't see you seriously voting for somebody else. And that's not a shot at Lamar Jackson. That's not a shot at Saquon Barkley. Both guys are doing amazing things with amazing rosters around them. And I just think that Josh Allen is doing, like, I texted you the other day and I said, he reminds me of Kobe.
Yeah, more with less. He's doing more with less, right?
Yeah. 100%. And it's just, and it's fine. I get it. We're in Buffalo, and it's the old tale, right? It's the old argument that we don't get the same type of media love and recognition because we're a small market. And even when we deserve it, it's still an uphill battle because we're a small market. Listen.
Dak was in that conversation before he got injured.
Because he's a Cowboy, and it's like,
right.
And it's like,
to your point, Dak was in this conversation. Like before he got injured, right?
So I don't know. I'm at the point where I'm looking at it where it's like when they release the votes, if anybody's voting for anybody other than Jack. Now, if he comes out, we got 3 games left. If he comes out and he has 2 Nate Peterman games, okay, it is what it is, But as of right now, the way this guy has been playing, and then the last 3 games, like look at come on, man.
If Josh Allen runs away with the MVP, if he plays 2 more games, so hypothetically speaking, let's talk 1 seed. The Buffalo Bills can't get the 1 seed, so the Chiefs win this week, they win next week, or somehow they win, lose, win. Regardless, going into the last game of the season, it's obvious, and they sit him. But he wins the first 2 games, or wins 2 of those 3 games, and does it the way that he's been doing it. He wins the MVP. If the 1 seed is in play, which means the Chiefs lose this week and then they lose 4 days later on Christmas, and the 1 seed is right there for the Bills to take, Josh just has to go do Josh Allen things, and they lose another game, let's just say because of mistakes that he just has a bad game. Let's just say that he had 3 interceptions, fumbles the ball, whatever, he probably loses it, right? He loses the MVP in that case. I don't see that happening. He's playing. Dude, on Monday on the Aftermath, I pretty much just said that he's entered his prime. Like, Josh Allen is that guy. Like, he is 28-year-old Josh Allen. There's something's going on in the background. Whether it's girlfriends, whether it's family, he just is settled into his own skin, and him and Joe Brady are reading off the same page. 2 men of one mind. He's just different, and he's been different since the Chiefs game. He's just a different person right now, and he's in the zone. And you just hope that it happens for another 6 to 7 games, right?
God, I hope it happens for another couple of years. Like,
yes.
It's like, man, it feels so good. Like, I was talking to somebody from out here who, they're very excited about Kyler Murray out in Phoenix, obviously, and just everything that they're doing, but they're like, dude, how does it feel having Josh Allen? And it's like, to be honest with you, like, the comparison of it, like living in Phoenix, so also kind of trying to enjoy the excitement of Kyler Murray for the city.
Right.
It's still just so different watching Josh Allen and then enjoying the Cardinals games, man. Like, it's just a different thing when, like, every game that you watch, it doesn't have to be. Actually, I watch the Cardinals games, and there could be a play where Kyler does something incredible, and they're referencing Josh Allen. This is the type of play that Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes make, and Kyler Murray is that kind of guy. But you never hear that when you're watching Josh. You never hear them say, this is a Kyler Murray type of play. It's always now you're referencing Josh, and it feels so good, man.
What's interesting about that is, like, when I watch Red Zone a lot, and I watch, obviously, if there's a game on network here that I want to watch, I watch that over Red Zone, and obviously I watch Monday Night Football, and we know what Chris Collinsworth does, and you never hear I don't know that I get the luxury of hearing somebody say, oh, that's a Josh Allen play. Normally we hear awesome. Bills games, them talk about Pat Mahomes, and on Monday Night Football they talk about Pat Mahomes, and on like all the other games they talk about Pat Mahomes, and after a while it gets old. So it's interesting to hear your perspective being there and watching a lot of their games, because clearly he does. I mean, Kyler Murray's an electric player, right? So he's another there's a lot of good talent in the NFL. There's a lot of good talent. The Bills are going to see potentially good talent this weekend in Drake May. Have you done any study or watched any film on Drake May? I don't think I've seen him play a game this year.
I've watched 3 Patriots games this year, but I can't say that I've watched them enough to really have a real opinion on him. And I feel bad to say that, because, like, we're playing these guys in a few days now, and I still haven't really watched it. And I just hope the Bills aren't doing what I'm doing, because I'm really, like, overlooking this team, and it's like, okay, so we got to win this game. And then the Jets they didn't worry me, but I'm already kind of like, So I'm hoping the Bills aren't doing the same, but I watched some Patriots, hopefully Friday or Saturday here, and get ready for Sunday.
How do you even approach the next 3 games? They can't just mail in the next 3 games, right? I mean, they've got to be. What are you as a coach doing to keep your team invested?
Well, I'll be honest. My concern is the Patriots. The Jets, I have no issue. The guys on the team hate the Jets so much that the Jets could be 0-16 on the last week of the season, and the Buffalo Bills would take, like, Deion Dawkins would take pride in making sure that they go winless. So, like, I'm not worried about the Jets game. It's this Patriots game where, like, the aura of it being Patriots week just isn't there anymore. Like, even after Tom Brady left, until we beat them consistently, it was Patriots week. Now it's like, oh yeah, okay, the Patriots, flex to 4. All right, we're flex. And it's almost like I almost wish we weren't going for this doggone record, because then it wouldn't be flexed. You know what I mean? So it's like,
I'm not happy about it because I'm going to the game. So I was gonna sit in 17-degree weather in the sun. Now I'm gonna sit in 17-degree weather in the dark.
Yeah. Have fun with that.
Have fun with that, he said. I'm thinking about telling McKenna to go with a friend. Why don't you take one of your friends and you guys go and enjoy that football game? Because I'll have the heating vest on for sure. Which you clued me into the heated vests. Lifesavers, bro. Lifesavers. Holy smokes. What a big difference that makes.
It completely changes your experience. Like, it's so much better.
Yeah, for real. What do you think about Gerard Mayo? Is he going to survive this year? It was on. I was on the treadmill today, and it was part of the news, part of the role of the news. Like, should the Patriots move on from Gerard Mayo?
That's crazy talk.
1 year, one and done.
Yeah, no, that's crazy. If they do, it just shows that the Patriots are since moving on from the greatest quarterback of all time and probably the greatest coach of all time, that now they're just a poverty franchise if they do this. Like, they're a terrible franchise if they make this move. Like, that's just a terrible idea.
I think they are a terrible franchise. They just had one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time and the greatest head coach of all time, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like the Steelers, right? The Steelers have been great through the entire franchise, top to bottom, since they've existed. I mean, it's just a little bit different. Whereas like the Patriots weren't good, and then they got those two guys, and then they were amazing for 2 decades, right?
So maybe that's it. Maybe I'm just kind of jaded by the last 2 decades, and I have expectations like, well, I know the Patriots are down right now, but give them I just kind of have this thing where it's like, give them a couple years and they'll do it, but maybe not. You're right. And I tell you what, I hope that the Patriots, the Dolphins, and the Jets continue to suck for years to come. This season has been like so fulfilling. It's been one of the Oh, Joe, it's been one of the best emotionally. It's just, it's been so great.
I start shows with John and Jerry and basically say the Buffalo Bills are still AFC East champions because they became AFC East champions weeks ago. They haven't taken it away from them yet, so they're still AFC.
And we still got 3 AFC East games.
There's 3 games left, and the Bills are still AFC East champions. Yeah, wildest dreams land for sure. It's super bizarre to be in the situation, and it comes back to that complacency conversation. How do the coaches, how does McDermott keep their heads in this game? Right now they're fighting for the 1 seed. I think that's it, right? So we have something to fight for. The 1 seed. The 1 seed's gonna matter.
I think the 1 seed matters, and I think the team recognizes what type of year this is for Josh. So I think playing for the MVP for him also is the thing. I think, guys are showing up and they want to make sure that they're doing what they can for Josh to get this thing.
That's a good take. That's a good take.
Because even look at that, like at the end of the game there, look at that Dawson Knox catch. Yeah. Like the effort that these guys are putting in for Josh right now. And he deserves it. He deserves it. But I think a game like the Patriots, when you feel like, okay, we're supposed to beat these dudes by 3 touchdowns. I think this is the game where you go into it and say, you know what, we're supposed to do it by 3 touchdowns. Let's go get the record by halftime. Let's score 35 points by half and let Josh sit the 3rd and 4th quarter. Like that's what I want to see from the team.
Yeah, it's funny because there was a hypothetical tweet that went out. I don't remember if it was Kevin Massari or if it was somebody else. It was before the Chiefs game, and somebody was like, Josh Allen is like one of the front runners for the MVP, but he basically would need 17 touchdowns to secure it. And I think there were 6 games left or 7 games left. Can Josh Allen? What do you think? Can Josh Allen get 17 touchdowns? In whatever 6 games or 7 games, and here we are 3 games later, he's got 14.
Yeah, like, I remember you asked me that, and I was like, "Are you kidding me?" Yeah, he's gonna get.
Yep, he can definitely do it.
Yeah.
It is also weird how they always end up on the 1 yard line. How does that happen? Like, how do they always end up on the 1 yard line? Is it strange how often they're on the 1 yard line? It's strange to me, so that they can tush push.
It's strange, but at the same time, I want to be, every time you're on the 1 yard line, I want a tush push. I don't want it to be like, I don't want to fool the defense. I don't want to try and get fancy. I don't want to spread the wealth. If Josh, I don't care if we're saying that Josh is taking numbers from running backs. Sorry, Jimmy Cooks, get it when you give you the ball on 2nd and 6. Okay, get it done. But if we're on the 1 yard line, I don't want to see any other play.
Or their 45. If we're on their 45, take it to the house like you did on
Take
Sunday.
It to the house every time.
If you want a touchdown, take it to the house. Such a good football game. So
Yeah.
going into this Patriots game, the Bills need to win to obviously keep pace. So the Chiefs play on Saturday, I believe. Is that right?
I believe so.
I'm just going to check. I'm going to verify. I'm pretty confident they play on Saturday.
How do you? I know Mahomes practiced yesterday. I didn't get to see if he practiced today. But they're still saying that his availability is kind of like how are you feeling about what you think his injury
he's gonna play. There's no way he's not playing. I mean, you would think that they'd be like F the 1 seed, let's get you healthy for the Super Bowl run, but he's definitely gonna play. And yes, they play the Texans on Saturday, so the Bills are gonna know going in. So if the Chiefs win that, either way, this game is going to be important to the Buffalo Bills, the Patriots game, because if they win or if the Chiefs lose, they've got extra motivation to win, and if the Chiefs win, then they still have motivation to win that game on top of all the stuff that you said. So when you're talking about this football game, and we talk about Josh Allen's stat line prediction and a score prediction, you went first last week, right?
Yeah.
So I guess I'll go first this week. I don't feel like the Bills are going to need Josh Allen to put on the Superman cape. It's also going to be, listen to me, I'm about to say it's going to be 17 degrees, so that might affect the game. Meanwhile, Josh had a perfect football game in, what was it, minus 7 degree weather against Bill Belichick in the playoffs. Well, maybe the weather doesn't matter. But God, could you imagine if we had a dome, 8 games a year in a dome, like automatic games in it? No, never mind.
I would come to like 6 of them.
Right. Yeah, you do go to all the dome games, right? That's what you do.
I would be there. What do you mean? I would be in Buffalo. There would be no issues.
I'm going to take 265 in the air for Josh Allen, and I'm going to take 3 passing touchdowns and 1 rushing touchdown. So he continues because I need him in the playoffs for my fantasy team. For 2 of them. Dude, I'm in first place. I got the first round bye in 2 of my leagues, and I'm in second place in my other league. If I win all 3 of those leagues, I think I'm going to retire from fantasy football. I think I'm done.
I mean, I think that's the way to do it.
Like, I'm out.
Get out.
And score prediction. I think the Bills continue their 8-game, 30+ point streak. I'm going to go 32 to 17. The Buffalo Bills win 32 to 17. Crushing the Patriots. 265, 3-1, and then 32 to 17. Do you want me to do rushing yards, or are you good with that? I don't think Josh is going to rush much in this game. Give me 13 rushing yards.
Okay. And I could see that, and because where I'm going with it is, unfortunately, as far as like all the conversation about the MVP and all this stuff, I think this is one of those games that kind of looks like what was that, week 3 or week 4, week 2 or whatever against Miami this year.
Week 2, yep.
Where we come out and we kind of just dominate the game. And, I feel like it's one of those things where, yeah, he may get a touchdown here or there. He may have 2 touchdowns, but the drives won't have to be long. It's not going to be, I just think that it's going to be one of those games where it might actually hurt the MVP case more than it helps it, because he's not going to have the opportunity. So right. I just don't think that the Patriots are a good team. I think Ramondre Stevenson is their best bet. And I don't think that that's too much of a, I'm not resting my hat to go up against the Buffalo Bills on Ramondre Stevenson.
Yeah, that's what they're going to make Drake May beat them, right? That's what they're going to do.
Yeah.
So
you got for the numbers though. So I'll go with Josh 175 in the air.
Wow.
Probably 35, 40 on the ground. 2 passing touchdowns and no rushing.
2 pass TDs. So you get a low scoring game then. Yeah.
No, I just think it's one of those things where it's like he may have the 2 passing. I think Jimmy gets 1, probably Ray gets 1, and then like it's gonna be one of those games where it just seems like everything works, and right, it's just like it's the MVP, but I just think it's gonna hurt him because again the number conversation. He's not. I feel
like as long as they win, I feel like as long as they win and he doesn't make a bunch of blunders, I think it's fine.
Yeah, well, that's the type of game I see, especially with it being in Buffalo. I just don't think the Patriots, the little bit that I've seen from them this year, they're not ready for what the Bills are right now. The Bills are a completely different team than I thought they would be. It's incredible.
I think the Bills are a completely different team than the Bills thought they were going to be.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Score prediction, my friend.
Score prediction, I'm going to say the Bills win this one. They do get the record. I'm with you. They're going to go 34 to 13.
one thing that's never talked about McDermott is he is aware of stuff like that, even though he says he never is. There it is.
Yes.
So you can't see it. So it wouldn't surprise me as much as he would say if they don't get it, oh, we don't think about that kind of stuff. It wouldn't surprise me if they've got 28 points and there's 4 minutes left in the game and they're doing whatever they got to do to get in field goal range to get to 30, like 31. Right?
I agree. I think Sean McDermott is not a first, he's a scholar. He's a scholar of football. And I think records and all of those things like that matter to him. And to be in the record books for something like that, absolutely. As a defensive coach too, heck yeah, sign me up.
Yeah, for sure. And then before I get us out of here, not sure what's going to happen next week. Next week, Wednesday, is Christmas. By the way, is your Christmas shopping done?
It is. It is.
Mine is not.
You just say I got to stress yourself out.
Yikes. Is Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams, are they Jets next year? I saw a graphic today that Aaron Rodgers' numbers aren't that bad. Hang on a second.
Well, while you're pulling it up, I mean, I tell you what, I hope Aaron Rodgers is. I hope Devontae Adams is a Buffalo Bill. That's what I'm hoping.
Who are you removing from this offense? You just said re-sign, whatchamacallit, re-sign Mac Hollins.
Yeah, we could bring Mac Hollins back. I'll be honest with you. Well, I know they signed a couple years of the deal or whatever, but what I've gotten from Curtis Samuel, man, I'm okay with replacing him with the Devontae Adams in this offense.
I'm not going to find it.
But at the same time, go ahead.
Sorry, didn't mean to cut you off. I'm sorry. He's basically top, second, third. So he's like 10, 11, somewhere between 9, 10, and 11, like in all passing statistics as far as that goes. Like he's not having a terrible year, Aaron Rodgers.
No, they're just a terrible team. So that's
football team.
Yeah, no, bring him back. I want him there again. And I heard, I told you they're everybody was screaming for Rex back there. Bring Rex back. Let him coach Aaron Rodgers. And then on the Devontae Adams thing, he could stay there because at the same time, I kind of want them to draft. It doesn't have to be the first rounder. I don't know if we're going to keep both second rounders, if we're going to try to move up or not. But get a wide receiver somewhere in those first 3 rounds, man. Like just continue to add young talent. It doesn't have to be the first round. You got Keon this last year. Yeah. I think, if you keep, I don't know if we're going to be able to keep Coop. If we keep Coop, if he comes back at a discounted rate because he's not the Coop that he once was, I'm okay with that. But no, keep drafting young talent. Keep bringing guys. And then, to be honest with you, I would start to look for not Dawson's replacement. I know we kind of have that with Kincaid, but you want another guy.
Yeah, you got to wonder about Dawson. You got to wonder about Milano. You got to wonder about Cooper. You got to want. There's definitely there's a whole show around some of these guys that you got to wonder who you're keeping.
I'm ready to move on from Milano, and I didn't think I know you weren't. You didn't.
I wasn't not hearing it, but I wasn't like yes.
Yeah. You were like you hit back with he was injured, and you defended him, and I'm like, I get it, but that's my point, is that he's injured. We've paid him so much money to be inactive more than he's been active. And if we're talking straight talent, when he's healthy, sign me up 10 times out of 10. The guy he's the splash player we need. He's an impact player. But the thing is, we're paying him a lot of money to not be active. And we're finding these diamonds in the rough. Like these young guys are playing bigger than we expect. But
he was a diamond in the rough. But yes, to your point. Are you ready for Matt Milano to be a Miami Dolphin?
Do it. I mean, that formula hasn't worked for them. So and yesterday they just picked up Lil Dirty. So go ahead, do that. I know he's down there with his barbecue. That's cool. He's not going to help. They're still trash. He's not going to help.
Yeah, OBJ, right? It's just I put it. Yeah, it's what a mess. It's so amazing to have all 3 teams in the East be messy, be messes, dumpster fires, and the Bills are already AFC champions. It's crazy. Any final words before I get us out of here?
No, man. As far as next week, I know you said so. Yeah, if we don't do next Wednesday, if you do want to do like a Tuesday night show, or if you want to pre-record next week or whatever, I'm down for anything. But yeah, man. Happy holidays to you and everybody listening and watching. Happy holidays to everybody. Enjoy each other. Enjoy your family. I don't do code of conduct much no more, but when I do, I want everybody to take care of each other, love each other, and live in peace, man. Like I think it's the time of year that we really should focus on that.
Yeah, super good. We'll figure something out. Even if we have to like pre-record Tuesday in the morning or something like that, we'll figure out something. I don't know who's watching our show on Christmas Day, but who knows?
Who knows?
So maybe somebody's like it's in between opening gifts and dinner, right? We
And
can
there's
play
games. There's games this year on Christmas.
There are games this year on Christmas Netflix. That's right. So we'll have to figure something out. But
Yeah.
ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning into the Hump Day Hotline on the Overreaction Sports Network, powered by Believe. Super good to have all of you. On the way out, please hit the hump the like button, and please subscribe, all that good stuff. But yeah, what a season it's been. Everybody's surprised. And what a football game that was this weekend. And can't wait for the one coming up this weekend, even though I'm going to freeze my cojones off. But for me, for John, for Jerry, for Jay Spence the King, we love you guys. We appreciate you hanging out with us for a couple minutes. Tomorrow, stick around for the Big O Show, the preview show, your first preview with the 5 keys of the game with Jerry. But for me, for John, for everybody, blah, 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 like I just said. Go Bills.
Go Bills.
Go Bills.